back pain can be such a frustrating condition for people, and it's the type of condition that people actually just decide to live with, or they feel that there's no hope because they have tried everything. It's made even more complicated by all the misinformation that's out there. There's an abundance of information, and it really is, for a lot of people, so far off the mark, because people are trying to fit into a standard protocol or treatment that's supposed to work for backs. A lot of the time, if you look at the research, things like injections and surgeries actually don't have any long-term benefits at all, and can be quite problematic, hugely problematic and disabling for a lot of people. But the real issue is that back pain is incredibly individual. So trying to find a standardized solution to something that's very individual can be very frustrating. If people do go down the surgery route, they can be incredibly angry naturally that their surgery didn't work, because it is such an impact on their lives. You feel that this has really held me back for so long, and I've had to live with this, and it's like a little silent killer, because it's not very obvious to people, but you're the one having to carry it around all day. And then you eventually go for your surgery, you trust that this is going to help, and then actually a few months later you've realised, you know what, I'm either worse or I'm absolutely no better. I don't have near as much function as I thought I would have. And you can be kind of out of ideas and think, well, maybe I just have a bad back and I actually can't do that, I'm not going to get better. That can lead to these sorts of like catastrophizing beliefs, thinking that I just have a particular bad back, or there's beliefs that I have a long back, or there's bad backs in my family, everyone has a bad back, and these sorts of things, and it just isn't fixable, and these sort of beliefs can actually hold us back. Another huge factor with back pain is that there's a huge amount of fear with it, and people are very afraid that they're not actually going to get their lives back. They're not going to get back doing the simple things that they should enjoy, and never mind like exercising and being able to do whatever sport they want, but also just the basics of being able to bend down quite quickly and quite easily, or play with their kids or their grandkids, get in and out of the car, not have to overthink getting in and out of bed, or bending down to pick up the shopping, thinking, you know what, I will go on that weekend, it doesn't matter what bed I'm sleeping in, my back is going to be fine. For people with back pain, they have to consider so many more of these things, because it's so debilitating. And then what can happen is, as well as the constant low level achy back that they have, the flare-ups with back pain are so disabling. For some people that can 100% disable them for 2 or 3 days. For other people it's literally for 3 or 4 weeks, and they're in this cycle of phenomenal back pain, and then it gets down to a level where it's just a constant dull ache, but you're in no way moving freely, but the lived experience of your horrendous back pain stays with you, and you have repeated ones of those. It just increases the fear and completely stops you from having the confidence to move forward. Like, that can eat away at your self-confidence and your confidence in the fact that this is actually sortable. So some of the factors with people, there can be a lot of anger, there can be a lot of fear, where people are afraid that this is what they have to live with. But also a huge thing with low back pain is the confusion that's out there. So many people are confused because of all the different opinions that they get. Let's just take the physical therapy or physiotherapy profession. Unfortunately, you could go to even just 10 physiotherapists and get 10 different diagnoses about your back pain. Now, you could go to a back specialist, or a back surgeon, or a chiropractor, or a massage therapist, and you might hear some crossover, but you can hear so many different things. And a lot of people in this day and age, because it's a big market out there, promise a lot. There's a lot of people promising fixes, and do this exercise will equate to your back pain being gone forever, or this injection or this surgery or this particular treatment, and when that fails, that really affects a lot of people, and they're starting back on it again. They're looking online, they're looking for their next savior, and it starts the process again where they meet someone, they're selling them something, they have to buy into a certain number of sessions, something is done to them, they're passive in the treatment, and that really does not work for low back pain. So in terms of low back pain, it's a huge problem in the world, and with the advent of scans and progress in medical interventions, back pain is actually getting worse and worse and worse. Back pain is really about you, and you need to speak to someone who truly listens. They need to genuinely listen and really understand your own story, what this means to you, how it has impacted your life, the things that you're not able to do, the things that are important to you. That person needs to know all the things that you have tried in the past, and tried and failed, or things that have actually worked. So the other second thing about it is, if anyone promises like a quick fix where you're not really involved in the process, highly unlikely that that's actually going to work. For back pain, for a constant ongoing low back pain, or back pain that comes and goes but's been there for a long time, you definitely are going to have to make some changes. You're far more likely to make some changes if you understand more about what's going on and why this has happened. And then the process involves you doing, you moving. There has to be some form of movement. In no way does it mean Pilates is the best thing, yoga is the best thing, gym work is the best thing, running is the best thing, walking is the best thing. It really depends, and it's really individual. Generally, what should be happening is you should be working towards something that makes you tick, that you want to get back doing. For some people, Pilates helps a lot, but for others it would be absolutely the worst thing you could do, because a lot of this is to do with stiff, tense, achy muscles, and some Pilates postures hold you in those positions, which is not what needs to happen. But that person may have thought, oh, Pilates worked for my friend, so I'll try it and it should work for me. And then when it doesn't work for me, you sink more into this feeling of fear and depression and worry. And bit by bit, the amount of life that you're living, the amount that you're doing, but just becomes less and less and less as you become cautious. And next thing, you have a nephew or a son who kind of knows that mommy or daddy has a bad back, or auntie whoever has a bad back and you can't lift me, and it becomes part of your identity, which is a really dark, low place to be. So look, in terms of wrapping this whole video up, anyone who says they completely understand everything about back pain is lying. It is a very, very complex condition, but the treatment and the approach that happens in the majority is so far off the mark. Passive treatments like needles, manipulations, rubs, traction, or where things are just being done to you, and you do stuff, you come back next week, you go away, you come back next week, or whatever. That is not a long-term solution to this. Things that alleviate your symptoms, if it's ice or if it's heat, they are not addressing the cause of all this. So what needs to happen is you need to understand better why you have back pain. Someone has to really listen to your story. You have to be open to making some changes, and then you have to start doing. The fixing of all this is in the doing. And even if you're not a believer, the best way to change that is for you to experience the relief that you can get. You need to get control back. And if you have a therapist talking to you in that terms, like giving you control back, and you then follow the process and you experience that control yourself, that will build your confidence back. And you'll start doing a little bit more. And gradually, as you're doing more, you'll build your confidence and you'll worry about it less. If you have any questions on this in particular, don't be afraid to reach out. It's info@painandperformanceclinic.ie. We've lots of other videos on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. But if you want to reach out about your own story in particular, just send us an email. Thanks.